Leader of Uganda, appointed 24 days after a military coup, has been sacked for security reasons. Paulo Muanga will be succeeded by the Finance Minister, Abraham Waligo. The dismissal was one of the key demands of the country's main rebel group, which is having peace talks with the military rulers tomorrow. The launch of the latest Discovery space shuttle was aborted today for the second time in 2 days, this time because of computer failure. The launch was postponed with just 9 minutes to go when a backup computer stopped. The launch has now been rescheduled for Tuesday. The crew of a powerboat were rescued after their boat exploded at the start of the annual race from Cowes to Torquay. The boat sank, but the crew escaped unhurt.
A fire started with an explosion in the engine compartment on the powerboat Manhattan. It lifted a hatch cover 70 feet in the air and left the boat burning from end to end. The 2 men on board scrambled into the water, and a control boat from the race picked them up safely within minutes. But the Manhattan drifted away towards the main sea lanes, still ablaze. The flames were being fanned by the strong wind. She sank about a mile off the Isle of Wight. Meanwhile, not far away, a boat with 10 spectators on board was also wrecked by fire in a completely separate incident. Everyone on board escaped unhurt, but the cruiser was a write-off. Peter Clark for ITN in the Solent.
The American Tom Curran produced some of the most spectacular surfing ever seen in Britain to win the final of the week-long Masters tournament in Newquay today.
Surfing's come a long way since the days of the Beach Boys, and Britain Wants a Backwater is now one of the top venues on the World Grand Prix circuit, with prize money of £20,000 on offer. Ironically, the bad weather that's brought so much misery to holidaymakers has produced some of the best surf seen in Britain for many years. Today's final resulted in a head-to-head between American Tom Curran and the unfancied South African Mike Burness. Once Curran had won the toss, giving him first choice in his spectacular passage through the waves, the contest was as good as over. Curran won it in 2 straight heats, picking up £4,500 and another 1,000 points on the world rankings. Pete Barclay for ITN in Newquay.
Motor racing world champion Niki Lauda won the Dutch Grand Prix after a tremendous struggle with his McLaren teammate Alain Prost, the man most likely to succeed him. 3 brothers who last saw each other 46 years ago in the Warsaw Ghetto are tonight celebrating after an emotional reunion. One fled to London during the war, believing his brothers had died in the concentration camps. They went to live in Sweden, thinking he had died.
Samson Altman was shaking with emotion in the last few minutes before his brother's plane landed. Soon he would be able to see with his own eyes that they had indeed survived the Warsaw Ghetto and the concentration camps. The brothers, Jacob, who's 70, and Israel, who's 76, had also believed he was dead and had even written his name on their father's tombstone in Warsaw. It was only when Samson saw the grave last month that he realized it had been visited and tended, and the trail led to his brothers. The last time he'd seen them he was 19, when the family were rounded up by the Nazis and herded into the Warsaw Ghetto. Samson escaped, but assumed all the others perished. His mother, sister, and 1 brother died among the starved corpses. Another brother was executed, but the 2 oldest boys somehow survived and settled eventually in Sweden. Today, all 3 were together again. And there were 2 new generations of the family to meet.
Every Saturday is a bit orthodox. Every Saturday he goes to the synagogue and you say prayers for us all. Because we, in his opinion, we were all there.
And now you're all going to see each other a lot and go...
I never let them go.
And that's it from ITN's Weekend Team. Good night.
Now the weather forecast for tonight and daytime tomorrow for Wales. Showers mostly dying away by midnight, then clear intervals developing. Sunny periods daytime Monday, it will stay dry. Temperatures climbing to 17 degrees centigrade, 63 degrees Fahrenheit. In the afternoon, in moderate westerly winds. Cloud increasing over Gwynedd and Dyfed early evening. The outlook, rain spreading from the west on Monday night, with further outbreaks of light rain Tuesday, then drier again on Wednesday. Favourable forecast for Bank Holiday Monday.
A child's world is a safe world, full of bright colours and happy families. But in the real world, dirt and germs lurk unseen, breeding, multiplying. Domestos attacks dirt, kills germs, even after the flush. So you can help keep their world clean and safe. Domestos kills all known germs. Dead.
Tonight, let's look at the great constellations. There's Orion, and of course, the Great Bear. But wait, something's happening in the firmament. This is extraordinary.
Hoffmeister, a great lager, follow the Great Bear.
How do it, oh do it, what they do it for. Once somebody tell, if only we knew it. How do it, oh do it, you can bet, we've been doing it as well.
Do It All are doing mahogany veneer Conti board for £1.95. New Crown Plus 2 roller paint £5.99. And this Duchess headboard £8.95. They're doing Harrison curtain poles from £7.75. Colour-On New Look vinyl £4.75. And Dulux Brilliant White Gloss £2.95. Every week the Do It All computer checks prices all over the country, so nobody does it better.
If only we knew it, how do it all do it. You can bet, we've been doing it as well.
At Queensway, only for the bank holiday, an extra 20% off sale prices on so many items. Must end Monday.
Queensway, there's no better way.
Brandy, a mild, cool-smoking cigar whose quality and pedigree commended chiefly to the more discerning. No one's too grand for a grandee.
If you've just taken the Pepsi challenge and discovered that you prefer the taste of Pepsi to the other cola, don't despair. Don't be too hard on yourself. Try to be happy that you've finally discovered the refreshing taste of Pepsi. Even though the truth can sometimes be painful. Discover the meaning of taste. Experience the Pepsi revelation.
Do you know how much longer Fairy liquid lasts? Well, we took the best of all the other liquids and tested it against Fairy. The other liquid lasted pretty well. One bottle did all this washing up. Not bad, till you see what Fairy can do. Fairy's longer lasting suds mean it can do all this and more, much more. On average, 50% more. And of course it's still as mild and gentle as ever. Fairy's not just a little bit better, it's 50% better than the best of the rest.
Michael Caine stars in Death Trap, our Bank Holiday Monday film on HTV.
Every time I come in this bloody house, you scream!
How does Mr. Anderson's play read when you're sober?
It's worse than I thought. It's flawless.
Death Trap by Clifford Anderson and Sidney Brough.
Put aside the drowning wife.
Are you sure this is the right key?
Ye gods, Houdini opened them in a milk can 10 feet underwater and you...
Death Trap tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Cardiff police are searching for thieves who stole 2 film cameras from an HTV Wales car this morning. We're anxious to trace the whereabouts of a film which is still in the magazine on top of one of the cameras. The film, part of a new series of Survival of the Fittest, should not be exposed to light. HTV Wales asks anyone who finds it to return it to the studios here in Cardiff. Now, a brand new series with Sherlock Holmes.